Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I will show you how to solve the Mazercise puzzle in FNAF Security Breach. Because not everyone will have the same puzzle layout as I have found. Sometimes if you change the puzzle and you don't have the save to go back to the default loadout, it can be very difficult to solve. But by telling you exactly how the puzzle works and how you can solve it on your own, this will help you solve the puzzle no matter what configuration you have. Alright, so first let's take a look at the puzzle here. You can see there's rows 1 through 5 with vertical arrows and horizontal arrows. Flipping the red switch will switch it between horizontal and vertical directions. Now what do all these numbers mean? Well, let's take a look at the puzzle. So you can see this is a large square room. This is a 5x5 square, and if you look at the carpet pattern, you can actually see how the square is divided up. So each of these numbers correspond to one of the rows or columns in the square. But how do you know which of these rows and columns corresponds to which number? Well, let me draw it out for you to help explain. Alright, I'm going to put a square up on the screen for you. This is the Mazercise room. In the top left corner, we will have the exit, and then in the very front, before any of the rows, is the entrance. So let's take a look at all of the columns, starting in the top left, which will be column 1, then to the next will be 2, 3, 4, and 5. As for the rows, they will also start off from the top, so this is row 1, then 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you know the entire layout of the Mazercise puzzle. So now that we know how everything is laid out, your goal is to get that 1-1 square unblocked and to have a path to it so that you can get to the next area. The next question is, how do the Mazercise puzzle pieces move according to which buttons that you press? Well, let's take a look here, and I'll do it with row 1 for demonstration purposes. So if you have the red switch in the horizontal position, this will move any row to the left or the right. If you press the top row button, all the pieces will move over one to the left. But this means one of the squares is pushed out of the bounds of the maze. So what happens to that square? Well, it gets bumped to the back of the row, and that square will now be in position 5 on the row. The same thing happens for the columns. If you go down 1, then a square that would be put out of bounds will get moved to the top of the column. So where this vent is row 1. But this is looking at the back, so this is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now that you know how everything moves, let me show you how I solved the puzzle here. Basically, I did a bunch of trial and error until I found the fewest amount of moves to create the puzzle path. But you'll see the green square, if you think about that grid we had earlier, this square right here is in the 4-4 area. So it is in row 4 and column 4. And we need to get it to 1-1, which is up here. This yellow square here, that's 1-1. So that means this has to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, to where that orange piece is now, and then has to go over left 1, 2, 3. So we'll want to go up 3, but it's the 4th row button, right? This is in the 4-4. So we want it to go up 3. So if we look at the map now, it should be in row 1, which, as you can see, there it is, up in row 1. I'm not sure if you can really get a good view on this camera. You can kind of see it there. So now we see the green pieces there, and we need to move it over to where this vent is, which I think it's another 3 or 2. So let's start by moving it left 2. And we know this because that green square is now in row 1, and we need to move it left. So let's move it left 2 and see where it's at. Okay, so one more. And bam! We have the green square in row 1. Now, what's the next part? Well, this blue piece here is blocking the green square, right? So we need to get a different piece in column 2 that will allow us to access the green square here. And from this point, you can do some trial and error to get what you want. But in this example, I'm going to go over my solution for the puzzle. So we want to flip the switch to move everything vertical, and we are going to move this down 1. So if we look now, that piece will be moved down 1. See? And now we see that there's actually a path here, right? So now we know that that part is open. Now in my case, the path is completely clear now. I don't have to do anything else with the puzzle, which I can show you here. Alright, but as you can see here, Like, I don't need to do anything else. It's a straight shot. But if you find that you run into a wall or something, we'll just figure out what row and column that is in. Again, you can look at the carpet here and see that these are imperfect squares. And so each square corresponds to a row and column. So right now, this is column 1. This is column 2. That's column 3. You know, then over there is 4 or 5. And then, you know, same rows. This is 5. That's 4, 3, 2, 1 over there. So really you just want to keep checking this camera here because it gives you a nice bird's eye view of the entire area. You can use this side camera as well, but just make sure to not get confused on the rows and everything. And you just want to find the pieces that are getting blocked and then say, hey, do I need to move this piece to the left, to the right, up, or down? And once you know that answer, you can move the piece and see what other adjustments you need to make. It'll be basic trial and error after that. Just you can now figure out which row and which column each piece corresponds to and move it around until you get an open path. So let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions on how to solve the Mazercise puzzle, and thank you very much for watching.